joining us right now. Congressman, I don't know if you had a chance to hear Congresswoman Boebert. If you did, please feel free to comment. But even generally, if you'd like to comment on what you think needs to be discovered about what Twitter is doing and what some other platforms are doing to silence conservative voices, please feel free to express your opinion, sir.
Well, I did hear Congresswoman Boebert, and obviously she was very animated and very upset. Sounds like she's kind of discovered the way her own account was handled. Certainly not acceptable. And I think this is a discussion that's been going on within the Judiciary Committee since I became a member over 2 years ago, which is, you know, what are we going to do with 230? Can it be modified? Should there be a full repeal? But as somebody that was involved in the publishing industry, you know, the first thing they teach you on the first day of journalism class is that there are parameters on the difference between news collection and disseminating that. And there's a responsibility associated with that. And if there's been a mistake made in and around 230, it was to exempt all the social media, because members of Congress at the time had no foresight as to whether or not, you know, this was actually something that was going to take off and grow and build. So they tried to nurture it and instead created a monster. And that's why members of Judiciary and any other applicable committees with jurisdiction should absolutely revisit 230. And I know that the committee that I'm on will at some point.
Yeah, Congressman, also want to just get your thoughts on where the president is today. He is in Wisconsin, and of course you represent Wisconsin. And interestingly enough, he's there talking about his economic plan and touting job growth. But interestingly as well, in 2020, the president won the state by the slimmest of margins. Now, he is, I would say, essentially starting his campaign for 2024. Do you think this is a strategic, unofficial election stop?
Oh, absolutely. Being in the chamber last night and hearing what I considered kind of a laundry list of items that his campaign manager must have written for him, and ticking them off one by another, and then also making promises to just about everybody in America about what he was going to do, not funding any of it, by the way, just you know, promising to deliver on this and that it doesn't surprise me at all that he's in Wisconsin today. My home state has been a purple swing state now for 2 decades. And as a result of that, we have presidential candidates that come through all the time. And that's certainly what Joe Biden was doing today. Yeah. I didn't see his speech that he delivered today, but in the short excerpts, you know, again, it's a campaign pledge.
Yeah, they always say that Hillary did not go to Wisconsin, and that was a big mistake in the final year there. Tell me what's going on in Wisconsin. By that, I mean, how are people feeling? We're 2 years into the Biden administration now. We've had high inflation. We've had polls showing that people are not sure about this president. What are you getting? What kind of feedback?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag on the data. I mean, if you look at kind of overall what the unemployment rate is, and then you match that up with the shortage in labor, every manufacturer, specifically light manufacturer that comes through my office, anyone involved in agriculture, which is one of the big 3 industries in Wisconsin, and then finally tourism. Those 3 sectors have just been crushed by the idea that the economy is not fully up and running. So when the president stands there and says, you know, it's coming back, we're on the comeback trail, we're not feeling that in Wisconsin, not to mention inflation. It is absolutely crippling not only the industries that produce those items, but also on the consumer end of it. So it's befuddling to me that he can stand there with a straight face and say that we're on the trail to recovery, because we're certainly not feeling that in Wisconsin right now.
Yeah, sir, any opinions on what's going on with DirecTV and Newsmax?
Yeah, it's disappointing, and it kind of falls into the same fold as a lot of the other items where conservative voices, like Newsmax, are being curtailed, or there's an attempt to censor them. And you know, in discussions that I've had directly with AT&T, you know, right now they're kind of pretending that there's nothing to see here, but you can tell there's a number of members of Congress that are starting to grow more and more concerned that this could spread. And I think, you know, if you talk to the members that are engaged directly, it sounds like they're still working on legislation, which certainly would get the attention of many members of Congress. So it's this isn't over by any means.
Congressman Scott Fitzgerald, thank you, sir.